Hi, my name's Addison, and this is my story. When I was younger, my mom and dad, they got divorced, and I was like 3 or 4. I don't really remember anything that happened, but what I do remember was the pain and anguish that happened in my life for the next 4 or 5 years after that. I would go and see my dad every other weekend, and as a young boy growing up, you always wanted that father figure in your life, and your father was a hero, except when those times whenever he'd beat you, and those times whenever he'd hurt you for doing things that, you're like a 7 or 8 year old kid. You're just being a kid, but you get in so much trouble that he'd hit you, and it just wasn't fair. And when I was 8, my sister, she was hurt in a pretty tremendous way by my father. And in fact, it was so tremendous that the courts ruled that we weren't allowed to see our dad until we were 18 years old. And so I was without a father. I was fatherless. And in this world where you see kids that grew up without fathers, it's hard, and it hurt me. It's so painful growing up without that person who's supposed to be there, who's supposed to teach you how to play baseball, who's supposed to teach you how to treat a woman, who's supposed to show you how to be a man, and that person wasn't a part of my life, and it was just so painful. Well, I remember this one day. It was a retreat. I was in the 6th grade, and I had been without my dad for a few years at this point, and this retreat was called the After the Rain retreat. It was a winter retreat with my youth group, and I went to this campsite, and the message was about how this storm happens in our life and everything's crazy and it seems like your world's crashing down around you. And that's exactly what happened to me. My world was crashing down all around me. And the great thing about it was that after the rain, after this storm, there's this person called Jesus who is supposed to transform your life and who's supposed to be there for you and who's supposed to be the one thing that changes your world. And I remember that night at the altar, I was down at the front just sobbing my eyes out, crying out to a God who I thought that I knew. I had grown up in church. I thought that I knew God, but I didn't know the God that I come to know as Father. And it was at that retreat that He was there. He was there with me, and that's whenever I truly got to experience Abba, Daddy, my Father. And that's when my life changed.